Roll call, please.
Councilperson Amparano?
Here.
Councilperson Burnworth?
Here.
Councilperson Mendoza?
Here.
Mayor Tucker?
Here.
And Mayor Pro Tem Ida Obeso Martinez is not yet here. So we'll correct the record when she,
She won't. She's not coming. She's not coming.
oh, she's not, oh,
Yeah, she had a death in the family.
oh my gosh. Okay.
Okay. It doesn't say nothing about a pledge of allegiance. Do we do that or skip it?
Either way.
I'm sorry?
The Pledge of Allegiance is not on here.
Yeah, I know, yeah.
So
So
skip it?
we can do it or not? It's-
Well, I'll pass on that then. All right. Giving that decision up to me. Public comments, any public comments? You got 3 minutes. Okay, seeing none. Let's go to A, action item, discussion. Action, approve special events series schedule for the 2025-2026 season.
Mr. Mayor and Council, Mr. Lopez will present, but just a quick introduction. Thank you for taking the time to come on this afternoon for this discussion. I think it's an important discussion to have. Signature events are amongst those quality of life items that the City Council has seen fit to have and stage over the years. I think it's one of those things that separates City of Imperial from others. Of course, those items come at a price, and you have an approved budget for the items that are on the list of recommended things. But that said, the reason we're here is for you to take a good look at those and make whatever adjustments that you all think are appropriate. And so that's the reason we're here this evening. And so Mr. Lopez will go through the handout that you have, and we'll have discussion and go from there.
So I'm not gonna repeat the things that Dennis just said. You know, he kind of summed it up in a nutshell there. Market Days Signature Event Series has a long history here in the City of Imperial. It's really grown. You guys have all seen it. The council before you guys have seen it. It's expanded. We have thousands and thousands in attendance every season here in our streets in Imperial. So this is really a quality of life thing. The schedule that I'm going to go through with you right now, would you prefer me to display it on the TV, or is it okay? So the event series schedule that we typically have, this is the every year since last year. These are the dates that we're proposing for this year's events. The October event, the parade, Christmas in a Small Town, Carnival and Blues, Brews, and Barbecue. So before we kind of go in a little deeper, I kind of want to give you guys a brief overview of the feedback we got when we were missing one a few years back. So you guys all remember, we removed Color Fest in April because it was the heat, people low attendance numbers, low vendor attendance, and those different reasons. We didn't feel like we needed to spend those dollars and those resources in on April. So the feedback we got when we were missing one, and when I say missing one, it looks like we have 5, but Parade of Lights is not a vendor-friendly event. That is an invite only. They're on cutouts of the streets, and they're in theme with the parade. Toys for Christmas, different little knickknacks, not a over 100 merchandise, food, and other things on our corridor. So when vendors, both either merchandise or food, sign up for our series, they really did give us a lot of feedback saying, why do we have 3 versus 4? So when they sign up for full season, they've historically known it to have 4 events throughout that season. So and just kind of put that in perspective, the parade is a huge event. Don't get me wrong, that is its own thing, and we hate to have that back to back. But in taking account these event dates, in conjunction with other cities and their event dates, It's really hard to maneuver these things around. We have parades happening both in El Centro, NAF, and other places. We would prefer to spread this out a little bit more, but given it to where if we spread it out, it's going to be closer to the holidays, and we're not going to get any workers. So, the backbone of these things are our employees, and we would like them to at least have a few weeks to go Christmas shopping or do it. But these events go a long way in giving them a little bit of extra money in their pocket for those types of things. Carnival is one of the newer ones. Like I said, we put it in a time slot where this year, kind of back up a second. We used to call every city and let them know, hey, what do you got going on these dates? Right now, as it stands, Mardi Gras is towards the end of February, and we have the long President's Weekend, which is Valentine's Day weekend. So February 7th for that one made the most sense as far as time. After the Mardi Gras, then you have, fair and other things happening in the beginning and later stages of March, which makes tri-tip where it's at fit. We've had also other incidents where weather really played a difference when we had tri-tip in February. Not to say that weather doesn't happen in March, but last season we had a lot better luck with our weather. If you guys know that tri-tip has a lot of components to it, one being the cooking part of it. They need ideal weather to do those types of things. Wind is not an ideal thing to have while you're trying to account for temperature on your cooking times and all these different things. These events, like I mentioned, we used to call cities, but what was happening and why we kept this a little bit more close to the chest this year and just presented it to you guys is because we found that other cities were taking our dates. So after we swapped those ideas and dates, and we had other cities launching ahead of us, or they had now those dates locked in, and now we're directly competing with other cities. So this time around, we kind of learned our lesson in that way, where we just have to move forward with the dates that work best for us based on the things that are happening in our city. Right now, if you look at the Carnival date, it's a direct conflict with the Carrot Festival. So those are things that,
Why would you do that though?
because there's no other date in February that would work for this event.
I mean,
Have the weekend after.
Have you worked with the regional chamber?
We work with the regional chamber every step of the way for advertisement, for postings, for different things. The regional chamber historically has not been a huge help in these they repost stories and stuff, but they are not forthcoming with schedules for different cities. So we usually have to reach out ourselves to other cities, and we've gotten cake on our face for it. Like I said, they've taken dates ahead of time. We come up the schedule, and we're going to conflict with something in February. Those months where they're ideal to be outside, there's always going to be something going on, and we can't always account for all of these things. But we try our best to not conflict with our neighboring cities, but sometimes it happens. And so that's a little, ideally we don't want to have a parade and Christmas in a small town. That's very taxing on the staff. It's one night, then one morning the next. Like I said, if we move it up or back, we're conflicting with other cities and their parades and the Navy base and other things, right? So we have to be mindful as much as we can, but we also have to be. My job is to look into the best interest of what we have in the city. What's going on in the other cities is something we account for, but my priority is the City of Imperial. So we select these dates with as much consideration in mind, but these are the scheduled dates that work the best. Only one of those conflicts with another neighboring city's events out of the 5 that are here as a regular schedule. If you see on the next slide, you would typically see Color Fest in there. So we have Trunk or Treat, which is highly attended. That's the car clubs, the people coming to trick or treat at Eager Park. We have some live entertainment behind that. Those are events that have been proven over the last few years, at least, to be highly attended, and have increased in numbers over the last few years. Autism has been supported. It's been growing year in year after. The only thing is weather. It's very hot, but we have another entity we're coordinating with. We have 5Ks and other things that we have to account for. So the schedule is ever changing to see how we can make that fit better and align better with the weather. If you saw that April was a bad day, but May for our Park in the Dark was a beautiful night. So you just, it's a roll of the dice with the elements. So Color Fest, although it was a great concept, we would like to keep supporting our local charities, but it's not attended well. So we have resources we dedicate to this event, although they're not outside departmental resources or overtime from outside departments. It is still a huge cost to the city to hire entertainment, rent a stage, bring vendors out. Vendors are not successful. The runners typically, although we do have high numbers in registration, we don't have high numbers in attendance throughout the event. So runners sign up. We're able to raise some funds for the charity, but they leave right after. And it's something that we've tried at different times, different locations, different routes. We used to have it downtown. In April, it didn't work because of the weather or the time it was at, so we tried it more towards the morning. We've reinvented this a couple times, and at this point, it's time to let it go. So the other new one that we're proposing, I'm not necessarily married to this idea, but it's something over the last few years and having conversations with Gene and KXO and those folks, and after COVID, they didn't have this, and Imperial being located where it is, with the fairgrounds being a potential location and partner, just like the regional chamber had their drone show. This is something that we would propose as a new. We're removing resources from one. This would be its own sponsorship package. If the council so chooses to move forward with this in July, we have a lot to do before then. We have Cal Fire. We're looking at a pyrotechnic show, not a drone show. So we have Cal Fire, we have FAA, we have other things we have to jump through. Contracts with the fairgrounds outlining what their responsibilities and roles would be here. This would be if we have the contract in place like I envision it, would be the fairgrounds would be taking concessions, but they would be doing traffic for parking. They would be maintaining the event within for trash pickup and cleanup. All we would bring, if anything, would be a band before the pyrotechnic show. They would handle the vendors, the public health department, everything like that. We would plan it in a way where we would work with public services to lay out the traffic closures a few days ahead of time, so it doesn't trigger overtime. The only staff, if any, would be a few of my maintenance staff and myself, obviously, and to just manage the contractors, entertainment, and those things. So I see this as a less taxing on resources, but it is very hot in July. The weather could cooperate, but I also wanted to bring this to you guys because historically, since I've been here, I've heard the council as echoing is that we don't want to remain stagnant. We want to keep doing new things. This is an opportunity that may or may not be something you guys want to move forward with. Like I mentioned earlier, it's just an idea. We don't need to dedicate resources or staff time or anything to this if you guys so choose not to. And I think that's pretty much it in a nutshell. I know you guys have things you want to weigh in on, and I'm here to address any of those issues or concerns.
I'm a solid no on the 4th of July, just because it's like our job as a city is to work with chambers. Chamber just had a successful event, and now we're trying to step all over their event. They just had one at the fair. Now it's like, oh, we want to come in, and it's like, let the chamber do that. Same with Carnival. Like, that's like, Hopeville Chamber's one thing they do, and it's like they do a carrot festival. It's a carnival, and then, oh, here we're gonna do Carnival, and we're to compete, and it's like, Carnival was, significantly more expensive than, almost any of the other events, other than Blues, Brews, and Barbecues. I'd say get rid of it.
I'll chime in on this one. I enjoyed all of our events. I know that we have by far the best events in the valley. Actually, not by far, we are the best events in the valley. Um, but I think my focus is Freedom Fest. I'm gonna say I had the luxury, or not luxury, or whatever it is, to work those for over 10 years. And so every year for 10 years or so, my family was stuck here in the valley in the summer. We couldn't go nowhere on a holiday weekend. I got stuck working. Uh, we started the day before, so whatever happened, we started the day before. Went into the night, keep setting up, get everything set up the day of, and it's hot. It's hot, and the way I look at it is, I gave up a lot for my family to so I can work that event. I look at it like this: our staff gives up a lot already during the weekends. Um, they don't get a lot. We don't get a lot of 4-day weekends, but this is in the summer with a chance for them to get away, and not have to worry about this event. Um, I get the cost, try to offset the cost of somebody else, try to minimize the cost and all that. But I still think no matter what we do, it's still going to cost us. We're still going to need police. I know finance is going to be involved. I know public works, our community development is going to be. Everybody's going to be involved one way or another. It's going to end up costing us money. And if for some reason that day that somebody decides, you know what, I'm not going to show up because we're going to go out of town, now somebody else has to step in and cover that. Um, I think it's a great idea if we can get all the cities to play in it, but I don't think it's going to happen. Um, I'm not a fan. I'm sorry, Tony. This is all the other events. I'm great. Color Fest, the low population numbers are pretty low, but I think all the other events are great. Except I'm not too keen on 4th of July.
I've just been looking at, like, you know, you guys have like, you guys will spend, almost $4,700 to go purchase pies and bread, and don't even really make that back. And then we have staff. That doesn't include staff to go, pick them up and then sit at the booth and all of that. I mean, I would like to see those gone. I mean, I think it's a wash. I think it's, for our staff. Like, I just hate seeing our staff, like, having to be, like, all in on these events when it's like you could have part-time staff to do stuff like that. Um, you see the look on, like, people sitting there selling pies face, and it's like, how much money are they bringing for the zero? Well, we're actually losing money for the city at this point. I mean, I think the events are amazing, but they gotta make sense. Like, the money wise, they gotta make sense. Okay, yeah, I'm like, have a hard time. You have two events, which is one, Parade of Lights and Christmas in a Small Town costs $65,000. Then you have Carnival that costs $61,000. That's one event. But then you have Fiesta de los Muertos that only costs $45,000.
Is there any thought of how we can bring the cost of Carnival down?
We can remove, so there's always a way to cut, right? There's removal of features. The biggest expenses I think at Carnival were the attractions, the Ferris wheel, the contracted things that we bring in. So there's ways we can remove amenities from the event, but then you start to sacrifice the quality. So if the consensus is to, it's costing us more money and we're removing the things that people love to go on, like the Ferris wheels and the different things, it'd probably be best to remove versus remove amenities, because then you have it's just a market days, right? You just have vendors, which is fine, and we can do that as well, where it's just a strictly vendor focused event. But people come, they want to ride the attractions, they want to do the different things that we have there. That's the biggest thing, is the expenses for contractors is where we spend money. So the entertainment and those types of things we can scale back. But historically, the direction it has been to keep it fresh, right? Fresh, keeping it fresh, bringing in different entertainment, different things like that. It costs money. Most of the you want to refer to the freight, they are not coming from, they're not locals. They're coming from out of town. They're coming, there's expenses associated with bringing bands in from Orange County, LA County, San Diego County to perform at our events. So if it's a scale back or a budget to cut costs, that'd be the first thing we would hit. It'd be the contract services.
But like, see, I don't understand why we don't encourage like getting local bands. So like, you'll walk by like the band we had at Carnival, right? Nobody's other than I would say like really that Fiesta de los Muertos. Like nobody really comes for the band anymore. It's kind of just there. Nobody really gathers around it. I mean, that's just kind of my observation. I think if you did bring in local bands, you would probably get more of that local following.
They'd probably be repeating a lot though, because there's very few local bands.
Okay.
I mean, they're going to cost us, $1,000, but it's going to be because with the feedback we get it in our office. It's bringing the vendors. The thing again, the vendors scaling back and different things like that. We get that feedback in our office. So I just wanted to let you guys know what that looks like on the other end when the events are meant to be a promotion of entrepreneurship and local merchants and local businesses and things like that. Removing one would cause that effect. I'm not opposed to it. Like I said, my staff would love to have a gap in between. Trust me, if we remove one or the other, you're not going to get any gripes from the staff side. I'm just giving you guys the outliers of what we get in our office as far as vendors coming in to sign up there for the full season, and there's one less, right? So if we're okay with that, then like I say, you're not going to get any gripe from our people as far as scaling back.
I mean, I think if the goal is for it to be vendor focused, I mean, are they really going to sell that much more if you have a Ferris wheel or you don't? Like, people are going to come to the event because it's, a fun event to do in downtown. I don't think those are like the major selling points.
No, but I like going back to the Ferris wheel and the slide. I did talk to the owners of the carnival from the fairgrounds. They said, "Why didn't you let us know? I could have helped you out."
Mhm.
They're already here. They already have the equipment here. He says, "I would have just brought it in." Because they start getting here in January. He says,
Right.
"I'll just make sure to bring that in early." There'll be a sponsor for the event and sponsor the Ferris wheel and slide.
Well, I mean, like, yeah, but now you're gonna do the Ferris. Now Carnival is literally on the same day as the Carrot Festival, so you're gonna have rides in
Well, I'm
Hopeville
saying-
for a week, and then you're gonna have them at the fair. Like by the time we had Carnival last time, I mean, perfectly honest, like my kids were super over the fair, like fair rides, So if you're doing the same thing over and over and over, and that other cities are doing,
I just think that this is some of the stuff that there's kids that don't get to go to the fair. They get to ride a Ferris wheel for free. Get on a slide for free.
So as far as profitability goes, historically cities are not we're not in the in-profit business.
no.
We're upside down in everything that we do. Summer programming, everything that we do is for a community benefit. So these types of things are a community benefit luxury that you guys allow or put on for the city, right? And we're not, unfortunately, we're not in front of. If not, I would charge, we charge admission and other things to ride the rides, but that's the attraction. Is everything's free. You get to come and do something in our city that doesn't cost you anything to do. I mean, and we promote those entrepreneurships and merchants and food vendors, and they're buying and they're sticking around for the music and the vibe. Usually, I do agree with Katie on the music in the daytime. For the Christmas and small town, it's just background noise. We can look at what that looks like.
I don't want to call it noise because the music does add to it, but I can remember whenever we used to have the stage right there at the intersection, people would be out there dancing and
Yeah.
just standing there watching the band. And
Yeah.
it seems like we don't really get that anymore.
No, and it's hit or miss. We had it in October. We had it at Blues Brews and Barbecue. So they were just in the masses. It's. I think it has to do with the time of the event and what the vibe is. Christmas in a small town is not a concert vibe. It is a family-oriented daytime. Take a picture with Santa. Come ride the snow hill. All those types of things, right? So, I do agree that we can look at that and maybe just scale back on those, because it is just, it adds to the environment, but it's not what they're here for. Like, so I do also agree with the pies and bread. We don't, we don't make hardly anything on that. I go get them because I don't want to waste overtime or resources to go get that, because it's a taxing on overtime or other things, but we don't make anything on those. It's a thing we add for those people around that time of the year, closer to Thanksgiving, around the Christmas holiday, where they have it. But is it necessary in if we have Carnival or Tri-Tip? No. So I can say it's not necessary on a few, but around Christmas time, it's a niche thing, right? It's something that people look forward. They come, show up at 4:30. They're already in line to get them, and it's the older crowd. And boy, that they sell out faster in Christmas time, and it's something that in October and December I would hate to remove, but we could remove it in if we have February, we can remove it in February, March, and we can systematically cut those things down, so we have some of the same things that we still offer, but on a smaller scale when we know that. But again, we're not profitable. We're not in the business to be profitable. I think you guys are very receptive to putting these things on. The staff is happy to keep organizing them and putting them on, but these things, as you guys all know, cost money, right? And we can scale back in some areas and look at those things and go kind of back to the drawing board and remove systematically some things that we know that are not great in some events, and start cutting there. But what I hate to do is start sacrificing the quality, because you could very easily start getting quality, sacrificing quality by removing a lot of different things. So we can 100% agree with certain things that you guys are bringing up, and we can look at those and start removing those. There's ways to cut, and we can look at that.
Or
I mean, the only,
maybe not cut, but like Robert was saying, find alternative, less expensive means.
it's like, I know the pies in the beginning, when we first started Market Days, the only reason the pies and the bread came was because it was part of a market.
Right.
It was something that was offered to the residents that, once again, couldn't go to Julian, we can bring the pies to them.
Mhm.
And that was already here when I got here.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that was just a tradition that's happened throughout the years. And I mean, I get it. We don't make money on that. We end up losing money on that. But, once again, a lot of things that we do to offer a service to our residents.
Oh yeah, I mean, I could tell you right now that we sell 400 pies in December, but we don't sell
Correct.
Yeah.
150 in
You don't
February,
s-
March.
Well, it's like, exactly, right? So that's kind of like, Tony, can you turn your phone off, please? Thank you. So like, that's kind of what I'm looking at, right? Like, there's no reason, like, to have pies be sold in February and March, right? And for you to have to go up, to Julian, get the pies, get the bread, whatever, and then have staff members sit there and, either their salary and they're essentially working for free, right? Or they're hourly and we're paying them overtime, right? That's an easy thing to cut these expenses down. And I think that's kind of what we're talking about, like the out of town bands for Carnival. Well, like, I don't even think anybody can tell you who the band for Carnival was, or if they sat and listened to it, but we see the expense. And I think that's more like, hey, let's figure out how we can tighten the belt on these, because one of the feedback we get from the community is, you guys spend so much money on these events. Well, how would that, what if you took that money and put it into the parks that my kids are going to use, or people are going to use every day, instead of just a one-time a year event? That's what we hear.
I'll take it.
Right?
I'll take the money.
Right? That's what I said. I'm like, geez, too bad,
Yeah.
But
so,
at the same time, if we were
It's
to
different.
eliminate these, we'd hear even more. I
Oh,
think.
yeah. Oh, for sure, right? I mean, 350,000 that goes to these events would go a long way in the park,
yeah. So and
It's a balancing act for us, Tony, right? And like, for me, I'm like, if we can get the bands under control. If you could, though, like, honestly, like Carnival being on the same day as like Hopeville Carrot Festival, like, theirs is on the same weekend every single.
we can is theirs a week long?
There, it's like their parade.
Wait, hold on.
Thursday. I think it's Thursday through Sunday. If I
Yeah.
were to guess.
Thursday, what Thursday though?
Thursday,
'Cause
Oh, I don't-
they tentatively have theirs up to where the Midway Fair itself is the 12th through the 15th, and then their actual parade and street fair is on the 14th.
Well said.
Their coronation is the 6th, so that one's kind of smacked right in between.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
But it's like a
not
main weekend.
conflicting with anything that they actually have.
I thought he said it was the same day.
Oh,
as the
okay, I
Parrot
thought it
Parade.
was. For some reason, I thought, so it's not?
What they have up right now in terms of. 25
Okay, so we're not conflicting with, Hopeville then,
There you go.
which is even better. So none of our events currently conflict with other cities. And it's not because
the
we call it
calendar
around
quick.
the sun. It's not because,
I would say,
Yeah,
like,
don't let
honest,
them watch.
yeah, like, I mean, the Hopeville, that's kind of my thing, right? Like, Hopeville still does their own chamber. You know, it's like we're not gonna have an event the same weekend as like cattle call. Like that's
Yeah.
you know, and it's like certain things where we know, like let's be mindful of it, but also like if you know it's okay to step on each other, but if it's like something that we know for sure,
so I just want to
not
let the
step-
council know that other cities don't have a problem stepping on ours.
Yeah.
And we don't want to be malicious in that way, but
Yeah, but you know what? Like it takes if we're you know being the better people too. Like
Yeah.
you're gonna win every time if you're being the bigger person.
so so we're not conflicting, Hopeville? Okay. See, we're good.
They have up right now.
If you guys still want to have carnival, then we can still have it. If not, then again, that's the council's direction to give. Like I said, my staff's not gonna gripe about one or two less things. The 4th of July thing is something to keep us, keep something else here, but you know, the regional chamber, it was a successful thing, right? They wanna keep it, they can keep it. It's not, you're not gonna hear anything from us on that, in that regard. We just, I hear the things you guys are saying, systematically start looking at the things that could help out on the budget a little bit, and that resonates loud and clear with me. The removal of, it's up to you, what you guys want to do with that regular schedule. Like I said, Colorfest is a tax on resources we don't need.
No, I mean I tell you honestly, like I'm fine with all you know these events that you propose, with the exception of the 4th of July, right?
Okay.
I'm just like let's try to get the budget, you know, more.
Yeah.
Let's get a band that's you know people are gonna come and sit and watch. Like I
So-
think it's cool when they try to get it to like you know fiesta, Christmas in a small town, but like
We can do, we can promote, you know, our openers to be local bands, and
Yeah.
that alone will cut costs tremendously, because sometimes these openers are not that cheap either. So, traveling, hotel expenses, other things they might request are eliminated by the process of being local. And then we look at what that looks like and seeing if we can find any fresh talent for the following season, right? We don't want to remain stagnant in a way where we're repeating, or like it's a record on repeat,
yeah.
but we can look at local talent. I'm all for that, adding them, showcasing them. I just don't like repetition, as much as I can avoid it, because you start hearing that, hey, they're playing the same, I don't want to throw anybody in the bus. I got somebody in my mind, but you know, we don't want to hear, hey, they're always there. Or it's the same thing over and over again with an Imperial, and then we'll start to be like every other city where we're not known for what we do best.
Yeah.
So
I mean, you're right. Fiesta de los Muertos had the same person for 5 years.
Yeah. we had Selena for like 5 years.
Correct.
So
And then for Blues, Brews, and Barbecue, we had the same guy.
I remember a gentleman's name. He's very good though.
Yeah, he's good, but I mean, how many times are you gonna hear the same guy?
Yeah.
That was my thing.
So I think.
Started to change it up. I liked it a lot better.
Yeah. So I think it's resonating everything you guys are saying. You know, look at tighten the belt a little bit. Look at local. Get rid of things like, you know, that are not winners. Like I said, we're not going to be able to, and you guys understand that. You know, working in government, is that we're not going to be able to be on the profit margin side, but we'll make our best efforts to get us closer.
And we're looking at just taking the Julian stuff down to just Christmas time.
I think Christmas and October historically have been a fast sellout. By 7:15, we're already out of 200 or 300 pies. So we'll get them out of Carnival and Blues Brews Barbecue, which will save, you know, the thousands of dollars we spend to buy them, and then the resources and staff time to man them.
It also, I think, leaves the opportunity open where people, if they're wanting to get their sweets or whatever, we have other vendors there that
Yeah.
we can send them that way. Or
Yeah. So
they'll
what
see
we'll
those.
do is it's a perk you're a sponsor to get a pie, so we'll just take that right on out of there.
Yeah.
I mean, it also leaves the opportunity open for another nonprofit or another organization. If they want to take it over, then they can bring in the pie. If
100%.
they've got volunteer staff, they don't have to worry about the cost of having staff man the booth.
And I could tell you right now, even as a nonprofit, you would have to charge probably upwards to $25 or $30 a pie to break even with the time you're spending to go get it. Because right now we're paying a certain amount wholesale, but you buy them in store, they're about $26 a pie. So it's very difficult to break even with everything factored in. But you're right, it's volunteers versus pay staff time, and I'm happy to get rid of it.
And the Brews and Barbecue, I thought it kind of wasn't very good. When none of the people that won the awards didn't even come up to get their award. They said they didn't know. I really don't know what happened, but something didn't jive. Kind of made me up there sad sitting up there by myself.
Without getting into the rubbing people or like the back and forth battle. I can tell you historically, we have countless amount of meetings with the competitors. We let them know what times they are to report to the stage. We had the DJ announce it. We had a DJ on that side to announce the times to both turn in. We have staff running around to remind them of turn-in times. We've, over the last few years, increased the amount of alerts and notifications. I would say the more alcohol that gets into their system, the less and less they care about the awards. But at the end, when it's time where they didn't realize or they forgot or didn't pay attention, it's a gripe. So we're doing everything on our end to kind of notice them, but if you guys know these guys, they're locals. The more their product back there is heavy. The more and more they get into their cooking and drinking, it's not they don't care about that at that point. So we'll try again to give them fair warning to get up on the stage and get their awards, and we need pictures of that, right? That's promotional content for us to have. But it's hard to wrangle in. Sometimes they don't give us a designated person that stays kind of soberish at the time.
Kind of soberish.
So we need to talk to them a little bit more about giving us that person that's going to be solely dedicated to being alert to when they need to be, where they need to be, because in the chaos of serving hundreds of people, even thousands, you may forget what you're doing or what time it is and things like that. So it's a hit or miss with them. Some make it, some don't. But it's not. I just want to let you guys know it's not because of a lack of what we do. It's just they get caught up in the moment when they're cooking, and they got hundreds of people in front of them. And we try to remind them, and they okay, 8:45, 8:30, and then we have nobody at the stage. So we'll see how we can improve that aspect of it. But we hear that every single year, and we remind them every single year during the meetings that they need to pay attention.
Cool. I'll make a motion to
Well,
approve.
then I'm also against the Freedom Fest deal, just because the regional chamber just, and they say, I don't know, that they're already planning for next year, so we wouldn't want to go nowhere. There's not enough people here in the summer to support two of those, in my opinion.
Give your staff the 4th of July off, Tony.
Oh no, I'm just saying. You're not getting any arguments from me on not having them one more. Getting rid of Colorfest is enough. I think to give them a little bit of a break in January before, because you also have to promote these things enough, at least a month and a half in between. Social media, getting all these things out there, switchboards, press releases and things. To be hit one back to back to back to back, we're getting back into those times where we had one every month, and it was extremely. It was a lot of work, right? But they were different than they are now. But the staff isn't going to give me any gripe about removing one, and I'm not going to give you any gripe about getting rid of some. So
Weren't they more into like the farmers markets back then?
yeah, it was more. We had produce.
Just kind of tried to
Yeah,
go big. go big or go home.
And we had produce, we try to get, 4-H and different organizations to get it and take it over. Like you mentioned, the Pies and Bread nonprofit to do that. And we just got no volunteers. So maybe we have some 4-H connections here. Maybe we can change that.
Kristen.
Sell some snacks or some fundraisers for you guys. But we're open to anything to fill that spot because now we have a spot that would be occupied by Pies and Bread that could be occupied by anybody else. So it's an idea for you guys to throw out there in your circle.
And it's, I think also we're really focused on you guys because you guys are out there, but we have to also consider we have law enforcement that if we were to add another event, especially something to that magnitude of the overtime we'd be creating for law enforcement also.
Oh, they'd be the first ones to get cut.
Don't worry, he was joking.
I'll take Chief though. He's salary. Him and Max all day long.
I'll go. No.
I did enjoy Max's concert Saturday night.
Yeah.
They do a very good job.
Hey, you can get Max to do one of our.
We have,
plays.
I think.
I'd do it again.
It's been a while.
He's got a fan base. He got a fan base. He's got some groupies.
He does. They were
I
there.
think Chief's his #1 fan.
Yeah.
They had their bell bottoms on and dancing down.
Are you looking for a motion?
Yep.
I make a motion to approve the lineup without the 4th of July event.
Second.
Okay, City Clerk, did you get that?
Yes.
Thank you, sir. I got a motion and a second. Roll call, please.
Councilperson Amparano,
Yes.
Councilperson Burnworth,
Yes.
Councilperson Mendoza,
Yes.
Mayor Tucker.
Yes.
You guys.
Approved 4-0.
Thank you.
We can adjourn.
And thank you for all
Okay.
the
That motion
Yeah,
would
that's the one.
coming on
include
Monday.
the deletion of Color Fest, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
I didn't know you guys were all gonna come.
I know.
I thought it was just
I
gonna
thought
be
it would be a
us
secret
and
meeting.
us and you guys. I didn't think everybody had to come along for the ride.
Right?
I know. I was like, oh my gosh, everybody's
Oh,
here.
you ain't got nothing to do.
All right, I'll adjourn this meeting.
Chief.
Just want to make sure you cut
Chief.
the video out.